and welcome to Taya Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, Monologues about everything and anything, and that's on period. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Hope you are having a lovely, wonderful day so far. Today I wanted to discuss about if I put two up, it sounds like 10. So 5 books by African authors that are fantastic books that have stayed with me. I would definitely recommend. Just if you want to learn about life and just like different cultures, if you know or you don't already know, I am Nigerian, so I definitely enjoy reading books from people who have similar upbringing like me, and just hearing a voice that is like mine out in the world is just so fantastic to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. The first book would be You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akwaeke Emezi. Now, Emezi is not she's not a new author. She's someone that has written a lot of books, around Nigeria culture and mythology. She kind of writes more about like the supernatural things, like having abandoned children and Madame Coin Coin and all this really creepy stuff that we all knew growing up. So You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty is very different from what she typically writes. And or he, I'm not sure if this person is a he or she, but I'm just gonna say her name, Akwaeke. So Akwaeke, in You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, is following this lady who has experienced such tremendous grief, and she is trying to find out who she is after losing the love of her life. And so you kind of follow this lady as she goes through certain things that happen. And it's not the most like, oh my god, romantic way that she gets with this guy, but I mean, life is messy. Not everything is gonna be, Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella, right? So, I mean, those ones were also were they good? I can't remember. But you get my point. Like, the way she meets the guy in the book was so very weird-ish. But I definitely enjoyed the storytelling, and I definitely loved the story. I downloaded this book on my Kindle. I was about to get on a flight to Chicago, and it was like a red eye. So I was hoping to sleep, but I read the whole book in that whole flight. Like, I got to Chicago, and in my Uber, I was like still reading. I was like, oh my god, I need to find out. So it was a really, really good read. Like, if you know someone that's going through grief and just trying to find hope after grief, after losing their loved one, and love after grief, I mean, this is a very, very phenomenal book. I definitely recommend 10 over 10. The next book that I wanted to talk about was Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. So Homegoing is definitely not a new book. It's a really old book. It came out a long time ago, but I don't know if people haven't heard about this, but everyone should pick up Homegoing at least once in their life. So we follow Afia and Essie, where Afia is the one that gets married to a white man, and Essie is the one that is shipped to a plantation in the South. Obviously, this has to do with slavery, right? So we are I'm trying to see the year, but I can't see the year. But obviously, it's like really old. It's set in Ghana, and then we also have a multiple POV where we are following Essia and her children and her children's children in America, Mississippi, Alabama, right? So it's very high up on the impacts of slavery on generations and generations and generations. It's a really, really sad book. It hits you so hard in the chest, and you're just taken back to the fact that people actually went through this. That's just so crazy to believe or to even imagine going through that. So I definitely recommend everyone to read it. It's a very, 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 very fantastic book. So the next book that I wanted to talk about is Tomorrow I Become a Woman by Iwanose Odafen. So I had read this book a while back, maybe 2020. That's how long ago I read it, but it stayed with me, and I think that every woman should read this book. Every young woman that's about to get married, every mother of a teenage girl, or every mother that has an unmarried daughter. I think everyone should read this book because we follow a character where, and I don't have the physical copy because I lent it out. If I lent it out to you, please return my book because I don't even know who I gave. But if you're watching, I have people that I think I don't know who. Anyways, we follow this girl who gets married to this guy. On paper, he is excellent. Like, he believes in God. He goes to church, actually really active in church. His family history is good. He has a very good job. And her mom is like, you need to get married to a really good person that's successful, blah, 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 blah. I'm not even sure if she had someone else that she was attracted to or she loved. I can't really remember the main, like, what really happened. But I do know that she ends up marrying this guy who, was perfect on paper, but then she quickly, or doesn't quickly, whatever, she realizes that this was a bad match for her. And even through her struggles in the marriage, her mother was like, she literally was her worst enemy. So, and that's why I said mothers should read the book, because on one hand, I blamed the mother, and on the other hand, I didn't blame the mother, because you can see that the mother is a product of what was done to her. So that's what she knew. Obviously, that's what she's going to do to her own daughter. I don't think she hated her daughter. I just think that she just didn't know better. She didn't know anything else. She's like, well, they did it to me. I have to do it to you. Like, that's how you grow in life. But it wasn't ultimately the right way. So, I think it's really good because parents need to understand the impact they have on their children, and they need to be able to let children, make decisions for themselves. Obviously, you can advise, but, the way the mom just, it was so sad. It was like every woman should really read this book, because I think before you get married, this is a book that is important that a lot of people just need to educate themselves on. So, yeah, definitely pick it up. It's on Amazon. And, it's a pretty popular book. Okay, so very different and very not the same from that would be Blood Scion by Deborah Falaye. So I read this book when it came out. I think it came out 2023. It wasn't last year, I don't think. I'm not sure. But anyways, this is Deborah Falaye's first book. This is more like something along the lines of Children of Blood and Bone, where we follow Sloane is a young girl who quickly discovers that she has powers, and the current country that, or world, or the where this place the book is set in, is like this colonists, people in power who are looking to kill people who have power like Sloane. So Sloane, for Sloane kind of gets to become a Lucy. She gets, I don't even remember if she got captured or she actually like signed up. Anyways, she is going through training with the literal enemy and people who will kill her based on the power that she has, and she has to learn how to disguise her power and try to save her life pretty much. Sloane was not my best character, but she was okay, and I think the story was very good. It's just that this has a continuation, and it's been delayed for like a year. I don't know if we're ever gonna get the book 2, but this was really, really interesting, and I enjoyed it. Like I said, if you like Children of Blood and Bone, this is something that's kind of closely like that book. And it talks about gods, like Yoruba gods like Shango and Erumole and the like. So I definitely enjoyed that aspect of the book. The next book that I'm gonna mention is going to be, or the last book, number 5, would be Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo. Stay With Me is a very, very fantastic book. I read this book in 2020, but I definitely remember everything about this book. I'm obviously not going to tell you because I want you to go read the book. But Stay With Me follows a married couple who got married, and this is just kind of like cataloging their struggles in trying to have a child. If you're not familiar with African culture, when couples get married, it is the expectation that they will have a child like right away. So you follow this couple where they start to, panic when they don't have a child. at a certain milestone, and then they start to get desperate, and then they start to do a lot of questionable things. So you just follow these two people going to like dangerous lengths just to have a child because of, oh, what will people say, what will people think, and they started to do things even without letting the other person. I mean, it was just a sad story, and it definitely stayed with me. I think anyone who's trying to get married or anyone who is newly married should read this book because it's very educative in what in the stance and what it's trying to say. When people get married, you don't know the weight or the burden that's placed on them by their family, by their friends, by society. And I think that, you don't have to answer to anybody but yourself. So stay with me, definitely stay with me for sure. And I think Ayobami further cemented herself by releasing her second book, which was A Spell of Good Things. Now, A Spell of Good Things was very interesting. It kind of read like an African magic film where there's a couple of events that happen that kind of seem unconnected and not like joined, but then at the end of the book you're like, oh, okay, I see. So it was very interesting the way she interconnected different, like, just felt like seemingly random storylines going on, but there was a connection at the end of the day, and I definitely enjoyed reading A Spell of Good Things. I obviously don't have the copy of that and stay with me because I have buried it out to someone. So again, if you are the person with my book, PSA, please return my book. No, I think that everybody should pick up any of these 5 books because they they address themes that we all go through, and I think you don't really realize that every other person is probably going through the same thing that you're going through. So stay with me and a spell of good things. I know it's cheating, but I can cheat. It's supposed to be 1 book, but I'm giving you 2 for 1. So there you go. A couple quick honorable mentions will be let me see. His Only Wife by Peace Emezi. I read this a while back. This follows Afi. It's set in Ghana, and it follows Afi, who marries Elikem in absentia. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. She gets married. Literally, she gets married to this guy, and he's not even there. So take what you will with it, but this is a really good book. Now, if you're newlywed or you're about to get married, again, a lot of nuggets in this books, I think, help you to not make a mistake, and you can maybe identify red flags before you get married. His Only Wife was it's not a long book by any way. It also kind of feels like a African magic kind of film, but it's super interesting. I definitely was interested and intrigued with the story. So definitely read it or pick it up if you like that kind of story. Another honorable mention will be The Secret Life or The Secret Lives of Baba Seki's Wife. So in African culture, there is a religious group that believe in marrying more than one wife. Here it's called polygamy. Well, it is called polygamy, but it's illegal in it's illegal in United States to marry more than one wife, but not in Africa or African countries where we follow Baba Segi, who has 7 children, and I think he has like 4 wives. So we follow the story starts with the 4th one when she joins the family, and you quickly realize that some things are not what they seem to be. This is a very interesting story. They've made it into plays and whatnot. It's not new. It's really old, but this is something that I still find myself picking, going for it if I just want something comedic and something really funny. But you also touch on, life lessons that you can definitely apply in your life, or you can just, give to your children, help them make, healthy decisions when they get married. So I definitely love this book. I definitely will recommend it every time. And the last honorable mention will be David Mongo, God Hunter by Suyi Davids Ogungbowa. So this book is is described literally by someone on the back, Nigerian Harry Dresden. I don't know if you're familiar with Harry Dresden. Harry Dresden is like an urban fantasy book about like this wizard in like regular, world, like our world, right? And he has to battle against like witches and wizards and like goblins and that kind of stuff. So this is kind of something like that, where we follow David Mungo, who is literally a god hunter. He is hunting gods in Lagos, which I was like, oh my god, like a Harry Dresden set in Lagos. Oh my god. So it was a really fun book. This was not a big book. It's like less than 400 pages, but I definitely enjoyed it because it was like an urban fantasy kind of book, and it was so different, and it felt so nice to see like popular spots in Lagos being highlighted. So if you've read Harry Dresden, or if you haven't read any Harry Dresden books, go look them up, because that will give you a lot of idea of what this book is about, but basically set in Lagos, Nigeria. So I definitely recommend it. And because of that, I actually started to read most of Suyi David's books. He's actually reading one Marvel book that like maybe it's a comic, I'm not really sure, but he's actually pretty good. He's a great writer. So yeah, those are 5 top books that I would recommend by African authors, with some honorable mentions in added in. But yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books, if you have any lessons that you have learned from these books, and if there are any books by other African authors that you would recommend so that everyone can learn about them. And yeah, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.